Have you ever brushed off a strange ache, a small change in your routine, or a feeling that something just isn't quite right, telling yourself, that's probably nothing, just getting older? It's something we all do. But what if I told you that some of the smallest, most harmless-seeming signs your body gives off after 65 are actually serious early warnings? These aren't dramatic emergencies, but quiet signals. Quiet, but powerful. Often ignored. Sometimes misunderstood. And too many times, caught too late. Welcome to Elderly Wisdom, where we explore the truth about aging, staying sharp, and living fully in our later years. I'm truly glad you're here today. Because in this episode, we're diving deep into 6 silent health warnings that every senior needs to know. Not the loud, obvious ones that send you straight to the emergency room, but the subtle changes in your body that whisper, not shout. And if you miss the whispers, the consequences can grow louder with time. We'll take a close look at what these signs are, why they happen, and what they might be trying to tell you. You'll hear stories from real people just like you, who noticed a small issue, paid attention, and in doing so, caught a deeper problem before it turned into something serious. That's what we want for you. Because aging isn't about giving up control, it's about becoming wiser about what your body is really saying. So if you're someone who wants to stay independent, clear-minded, and physically strong after 65, this video is for you. By the end, you'll understand the 6 most common signals your body may be sending, and how to respond to them in smart, proactive ways. We'll talk about things like unexplained fatigue, tiny memory lapses, little appetite changes, and more. Each one of them might seem like nothing on its own, but together, they could be the body's early cry for help. And I'll share a bonus tip at the end that most doctors don't talk about, but could help you add years to your life, and more comfort to every day. Now, before we begin, I encourage you to take a moment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, give this video a like, and share it with a loved one. Because awareness is the first step toward prevention, and what you learn today may just help someone else tomorrow. Let's get started. The first silent signal your body might be giving you is one you may have already noticed, but never thought twice about. Have you noticed yourself walking just a little differently lately? Maybe it's a slight limp after standing up. A hesitation on the stairs. A small favoring of one leg over the other that crept in without warning. You might chalk it up to getting older, maybe assume it's just stiffness or a muscle pulling the wrong way. But here's what most people don't realize, changes in the way you walk, no matter how small, can be one of the earliest signs of serious health issues. After 65, our bodies start giving subtle cues. A shift in gait, meaning how your foot lands, how your hip moves, how you balance, can signal joint problems, circulatory issues, or even neurological decline. The hard part? These changes are usually painless at first. They don't scream for attention. They quietly wear you down, day by day, until one day a fall, a fracture, or a diagnosis forces you to take them seriously. But we want to catch them before that point. Let's take an example. There's a man named Richard, 71 years old, who loved walking his dog every evening. He started noticing that he felt off balance when turning corners. Just a little. He adjusted unconsciously, shortened his steps, leaned forward, and told himself it was nothing. A few months later, he tripped over a sidewalk crack and fell hard. Thankfully, he wasn't badly hurt, but when he got checked, doctors discovered early signs of peripheral artery disease, a condition that was quietly reducing blood flow to his legs. If he hadn't fallen, it might have progressed unnoticed. This is more common than you might think. Limping, dragging one foot slightly, struggling to pivot, or feeling off balance can be caused by several root issues. It could be osteoarthritis, wearing down the hip or knee joints. It could be nerve-related changes, like early signs of Parkinson's or neuropathy. Or it could stem from vascular problems, where the blood isn't circulating properly, causing your muscles to tire faster or your legs to cramp. What's especially tricky is how people adapt. You shift your weight. You avoid certain stairs. You stop walking outside altogether. And little by little, that independence begins to shrink, not because your body gave out, but because you didn't listen to the early signs it was giving you. So what can you do? First, observe your own movement. Start a simple, gait journal. Pay attention to how you walk in the morning versus the afternoon. Are you dragging your feet more? Feeling more unsteady after meals? Losing stride length? Even small clues can point to a larger issue. Second, consider getting a gait assessment. A basic evaluation by a physical therapist can detect imbalances or compensation patterns that aren't visible to the untrained eye. They can suggest exercises that not only strengthen your muscles but also improve coordination, balance, and endurance. Third, ask your doctor if you should be screened for circulation or nerve issues. A Doppler test can check blood flow to the legs. A simple reflex check or nerve conduction test might reveal early-stage neuropathy. If addressed early, these issues can often be managed effectively, sometimes even reversed. You don't need to wait until a fall or injury forces the conversation. You have more power than you think to catch the signs early. And don't forget, movement is medicine. Even a few minutes a day of targeted walking, leg strengthening, or balance training can make a world of difference. Try standing on one foot for 10 seconds while brushing your teeth. Or do heel-to-toe walks along a hallway. Gentle practices like Tai Chi or water aerobics are incredibly effective for gait training and confidence. Remember, independence after 65 is not just about what you can do today, it's about protecting your ability to move freely tomorrow. So the next time you feel a little hitch in your step, don't dismiss it. Pay attention. Investigate. And act early. Because the body whispers before it screams, and it's always trying to keep you safe if you're willing to listen. Have you found yourself pushing food around your plate more than you used to? Skipping meals, not out of choice, but because you just weren't hungry? Or maybe you noticed your clothes fitting a little looser, even though you haven't changed your diet or activity level. For many people over 65, these things feel normal. Appetite changes with age, right? We don't eat as much, we don't move as much, so weight shifts happen. But here's the important truth, unexplained weight loss in older adults is not something to ignore. In fact, it's one of the most common yet overlooked early signs that something deeper may be going on. After 65, losing just 5% of your body weight over 6 to 12 months, without trying, can be a sign of serious underlying issues. And that's especially true if it's accompanied by fatigue, mood changes, or difficulty healing. What makes this tricky is that many older adults see it as a good thing. I've been meaning to drop some weight anyway, they say. Or, I don't have the appetite I used to, but that's normal, isn't it? Well, sometimes it is. But often, it's your body trying to alert you to something hidden. Let me tell you about Clara, age 74. She was always a healthy eater, enjoyed home-cooked meals, rarely overindulged. One day, she realized she was skipping breakfast entirely. No interest in lunch. By the time dinner came, she'd take a few bites and feel full. Over the next few months, she lost nearly 10 pounds. Her daughter noticed her energy was lower too, she seemed withdrawn, even a little foggy. At first, they thought it was just loneliness or stress. But a blood test showed a thyroid imbalance and an iron deficiency, both of which, untreated, could have led to more serious problems. With treatment and nutritional support, Clara recovered her appetite, her energy, and her sense of self. That's the thing, loss of appetite is never just about food. It can point to issues like low-level infections, thyroid problems, gastrointestinal disease, depression, even certain cancers. Sometimes it's the body's way of conserving energy when it senses internal inflammation. Other times, it's a side effect of medications or nutrient deficiencies, like low zinc or vitamin B12. But one of the biggest causes? Emotional isolation. As we age, eating becomes less about survival and more about connection. Meals we used to enjoy with partners, family, or friends can feel lonely when eaten alone. That emotional shift silently suppresses appetite. Over time, it leads to nutritional decline, not because food is unavailable, but because food has lost its meaning. So what should you watch for? Take note if you've lost more than a few pounds without changing your diet. Are you skipping meals more often? Do you feel full unusually fast? Do foods you used to enjoy now seem bland or unappealing? These aren't signs of aging gracefully, they're signs of imbalance. And imbalance, especially after 65, deserves your attention. Start by tracking your weight weekly. Nothing extreme, just a quick step on the scale. Write it down. If you notice a trend downward without trying, flag it. Keep a simple food journal too. It doesn't have to be detailed, just note what you ate and how much. Over time, you'll spot patterns that reveal more than memory can. Next, ask your doctor to run basic labs, thyroid function, iron levels, vitamin B12, and perhaps a stool test or abdominal scan if there are signs of digestive trouble. It may feel like overreacting, but in truth, catching these changes early is one of the wisest things you can do for your future health. And then, focus on restoring both nutrition and meaning to your meals. If you're struggling to eat full portions, try small, frequent meals throughout the day, high in protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Smoothies, soups, and soft-cooked vegetables are gentle on the stomach but powerful in nourishment. Consider adding nutritional shakes or meal supplements if eating becomes physically tiring. But don't stop there. Reconnect eating with connection. Share meals with others when possible, whether it's inviting a neighbor, joining a local senior group, or scheduling regular dinners with family. When food becomes social again, appetite often follows. And above all, don't dismiss your body's voice. A sudden disinterest in food or a quiet weight loss may seem minor now, but it can be the first domino in a chain of problems if ignored. You have the right, and the responsibility, to listen, investigate, and respond early. Because staying strong after 65 isn't about eating less, it's about eating wisely, with joy, connection, and awareness. Your body will thank you for it. Have you ever woken up after a full night's sleep and still felt drained, like your body was running on empty no matter how much you rested? You might have told yourself, it's just part of getting older. But what if I told you that persistent fatigue, especially the kind that rest doesn't fix, is often one of the earliest, and most overlooked, signals your body sends when something's wrong? We're not talking about the usual tiredness from a busy day. This is deeper. A kind of exhaustion that lingers. That slows your thoughts, your movements, and your mood. You feel like you're operating in slow motion, even on your best days. And the worst part? You don't know why. That type of fatigue isn't something to ignore, because it almost always points to something your body is struggling with beneath the surface. Let's take Margaret, 68. She had always been active, walking every morning, gardening, helping her daughter with the grandkids. But over a few months, she noticed a shift. She'd sit down for a quick rest and fall asleep for 2 hours. The simplest chores felt overwhelming. Her family thought it might be emotional burnout, or just normal aging. But her doctor ran tests, and they found her red blood cell count was dangerously low. A condition called anemia, caused by internal bleeding in her digestive tract. It was silent, but it was serious. If they hadn't found it, it could have led to organ damage or worse. That's the danger of fatigue, it's invisible. It doesn't leave a mark. It doesn't make a sound. But it changes how you experience your life. And many seniors accept it as a new normal when they shouldn't. So what causes this kind of fatigue in older adults? Often, it's medical. Conditions like anemia, where your blood isn't carrying enough oxygen. Or thyroid imbalances, which slow your metabolism and make every task feel heavier. Sometimes it's related to chronic infections, inflammation, or even early stages of heart failure. Other times, it's nutritional deficiencies, like low levels of vitamin D, B12, or magnesium, vital nutrients your body relies on to produce energy. And one of the most overlooked culprits? Sleep apnea. A disorder where breathing repeatedly stops during sleep, preventing the deep rest your brain and body need to recharge. That's why it's so important to ask, what kind of tired am I feeling? Is it physical, like muscle fatigue? Or is it mental fog? Is it consistent throughout the day, or does it come and go? Do naps help, or not at all? These questions help you track the pattern, and the pattern helps your doctor pinpoint the cause. Start keeping a fatigue journal. Each day, jot down when your energy feels lowest. Note what you ate, how well you slept, and what you were doing before the fatigue hit. Over time, you'll see connections. For example, if you always crash after meals, it could be a blood sugar issue. If mornings are hardest, it could be poor overnight sleep quality. These patterns speak volumes. And don't hesitate to ask your doctor for targeted tests. A CBC blood panel can catch anemia. A thyroid function test can identify hormonal imbalances. Vitamin and mineral screenings can expose deficiencies. If sleep is a concern, a home sleep study can check for apnea. These aren't exotic tests, they're basic. But they're often skipped unless you speak up and ask. Now, while you and your doctor search for the medical cause, you can also support your energy naturally. Focus on consistent hydration, balanced meals with slow-burning carbohydrates and protein, and gentle movement like stretching or walking. It may sound strange to exercise when you're tired, but short bursts of activity can actually increase circulation and energy in the long run. Also, be mindful of your mental and emotional state. Depression in older adults often shows up not as sadness, but as fatigue. Feeling worn down emotionally can translate directly into physical exhaustion. If you're losing interest in things you used to enjoy, or feeling withdrawn, talk to someone. There's strength in being honest about how you're doing, and healing can begin when you do. Let's also not overlook medications. Many prescriptions list fatigue as a side effect, especially blood pressure meds, sedatives, and certain painkillers. If your tiredness began shortly after starting or adjusting a medication, that could be your answer. Bring a full list to your doctor and review them together. Sometimes just a small change in dosage or timing can restore your energy. So the next time you find yourself saying, "I'm just tired lately," pause. Ask yourself, is this normal tired, or something deeper? Because energy isn't just about age, it's about balance. When your body is balanced, energy flows naturally. When it's off, fatigue is how it calls for help. And here's the good news, when you treat the root cause, whether it's nutritional, hormonal, emotional, or sleep-related, your energy can return. You can feel vibrant again. You can get back to your morning walks, your hobbies, your life. Not because you're younger, but because you listened. So listen. Fatigue is not a character flaw. It's not laziness. It's not something you just have to live with. It's a symptom. A signal. And most importantly, it's something you can do something about. It can start so quietly. You walk up a flight of stairs that never used to bother you. But suddenly, you're breathing heavier than usual. Or maybe you notice you're taking longer to catch your breath after walking across the room, or getting dressed. Then one day, bending to tie your shoes, there's a strange tightness in your chest. Not painful. Not dramatic. Just, there. Subtle. But you feel it. And just like that, your body is trying to whisper something important: pay attention. For many people over 65, shortness of breath is dismissed as just getting older. We slow down, we move less, and we assume our lungs and heart are just not what they used to be. But here's the truth: consistent or sudden breathlessness is not normal aging. It's one of the body's most urgent early warning signs, especially when it shows up during small activities, or when you're at rest. Let's talk about James, age 70. A retired teacher, never smoked, fairly active. He started noticing that he couldn't walk and talk at the same time without losing his breath. Then mowing the lawn became too tiring. Still, he brushed it off, until one night, while lying in bed, he felt a flutter in his chest and a tightness he couldn't explain. He went to the doctor, and tests revealed congestive heart failure, a condition that could have been treated much earlier if he had paid attention to the signs. The good news? With medication, lifestyle changes, and monitoring, he's doing well today. But he wishes he had listened to his body sooner. This is exactly why breathlessness matters. It often signals conditions like coronary artery disease, early-stage heart failure, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, especially in older adults. It can even point to low-grade pneumonia, pulmonary hypertension, or anemia, where the blood can't carry enough oxygen to fuel your muscles and organs. And then there's the more subtle danger, micro blood clots, which can form quietly in the lungs or heart and cause recurring tightness or shortness of breath. These don't always cause pain. But they reduce your oxygen flow just enough to wear you down, and over time, they can lead to serious complications. So what exactly should you watch for? Pay attention to how your body responds to activity. If walking upstairs, carrying groceries, or simply making the bed leaves you winded, that's not something to ignore. Take note if you feel a tightness in the chest, especially if it feels like pressure, fullness, or a squeezing sensation. Even if it doesn't hurt, that sensation may be your heart trying to work harder than it should. Some people experience breathlessness at night when lying flat. A symptom of fluid buildup around the lungs, often tied to heart issues. Others notice a new wheeze, a lingering cough, or the need to sit upright to breathe comfortably. These aren't just nuisances. They are signals. Quiet, consistent signals your body wants you to hear. So what can you do if you notice these signs? First, document your symptoms. Write down what activity triggered the shortness of breath, how long it lasted, and how intense it was. This simple record can help your doctor pinpoint whether the cause is cardiac, respiratory, or something else entirely. Next, see your doctor without delay. Request a few key evaluations. A pulse oximeter reading, which shows how well oxygen is moving through your body. A chest X-ray or echocardiogram to assess lung and heart function. A stress test if your symptoms worsen with physical effort. These tests are non-invasive and can reveal a lot, before the situation becomes critical. Also, talk about any medications you're taking. Some drugs can cause fluid retention or lower oxygen levels. If you're on blood pressure medicine, diuretics, or sedatives, they could be part of the picture, and your doctor can help adjust them if needed. In the meantime, there are steps you can take at home to improve your breathing and oxygen flow. Pursed lip breathing, a simple technique where you inhale through your nose and exhale slowly through pursed lips, can help reduce shortness of breath during activity. Gentle seated exercises or arm raises can improve oxygen use without overexerting you. Also, watch your salt intake. Too much sodium can cause fluid buildup, especially in people with heart conditions. Staying well hydrated and choosing fresh, low-sodium foods can support your cardiovascular system and ease pressure on your lungs. And don't forget, posture matters. Sitting upright, sleeping on an incline, or using extra pillows can ease breathing, especially at night. The key message here is this: your breath is your body's most vital function. When it changes, even subtly, it's never just aging. It's communication. It's your body asking for help, gently at first, then more urgently if ignored. You deserve to move through life with ease, not with breathlessness. You deserve to climb stairs, walk through parks, and laugh with loved ones without feeling drained. But that starts with awareness. And with action. So if something feels off, even just a little, listen to it. Breathe deeply. Tune in. And take that next step toward understanding what your body is telling you. The earlier you catch these signs, the more power you have to take control and keep your body working at its best. There's a moment, quiet and subtle, when you walk into a room and pause. You can't remember why you came in. You stand there, trying to trace your steps, your thoughts. It passes. You laugh it off. I must be getting old, you say. But then it happens again. And again. And soon, you're forgetting names, misplacing things more often, or struggling to follow a conversation. The words are right there, but you can't quite reach them. We all experience moments of forgetfulness, no matter our age. But when those moments become frequent, or when they begin to disrupt your confidence, your routines, or your relationships, they become more than just senior moments. They become signs your brain might be sending, signs of something deeper. Let's talk about Louise, 76. Bright, social, always the one remembering birthdays and organizing events for her church. But over the past year, she began to feel like her mind was slipping. She couldn't remember familiar recipes, lost track of appointments, and found herself feeling overwhelmed by things that once came easily. Her family noticed too, but no one wanted to say anything, fearing they'd upset her. When she finally brought it up with her doctor, they ran simple cognitive tests. It turned out Louise wasn't developing dementia, she had vitamin B12 deficiency and untreated sleep apnea, both of which can mimic early memory loss. Within months of treatment, her clarity returned. Her confidence too. What could have quietly worsened became something treatable, because she paid attention. That's the power of awareness. You see, not all memory problems in older adults are caused by Alzheimer's or dementia. In fact, many are related to underlying health issues, medications, or even emotional stress. But because memory is tied so closely to identity, we often fear the worst and say nothing, when the best thing we can do is talk about it. So what exactly should you watch for? Pay attention to changes that are persistent and noticeable. Forgetting where you placed your keys is common. But forgetting what the keys are for, or how to use them? That's a red flag. Repeating the same story multiple times in one conversation, losing track of dates or events, getting lost in familiar places, or struggling to follow instructions, these are all signs that shouldn't be ignored. But here's the hopeful truth, many of these symptoms are reversible or manageable when caught early. Memory loss is not always a one-way road. For example, thyroid disorders, particularly hypothyroidism, can cause sluggish thinking and poor recall. Dehydration can lead to confusion and dizziness. Certain medications, especially sedatives, antihistamines, and even over-the-counter sleep aids, can cloud the mind. So can urinary tract infections, which often cause sudden confusion in seniors rather than physical symptoms. And let's not forget depression. In older adults, it doesn't always look like sadness. It often shows up as low motivation, slow thinking, forgetfulness, and withdrawal, what's known as pseudodementia. When treated, mental clarity can improve dramatically. That's why the first step is to track your symptoms. Keep a memory journal. Write down the instances when you felt confused or forgetful. What were you doing? How did you feel physically or emotionally? Did you sleep well the night before? Eat properly that day? This record helps your doctor connect the dots, and possibly uncover treatable causes. Next, ask for a cognitive screening. These are short, non-invasive assessments that help detect patterns in thinking, attention, and recall. They don't label you, they guide your care. Also, consider a medication review. Bring every supplement, vitamin, and prescription you take to your doctor or pharmacist. There could be interactions that are quietly affecting your brain function. But what if it is early-stage cognitive decline? Even then, there is power in knowing. Because lifestyle changes can slow progression. Regular physical activity increases blood flow to the brain. Puzzles, reading, and conversation strengthen neural pathways. A Mediterranean-style diet rich in healthy fats, leafy greens, and berries has been shown to support memory. And perhaps most importantly, social engagement. Isolation is a silent accelerant of decline. Stay connected. Talk. Laugh. Share stories. Human connection nourishes the mind in ways science is only beginning to understand. You should also be aware of the importance of routine. Having a structured day, consistent sleep patterns, and organized living spaces can reduce confusion and promote mental stability. If you find yourself struggling with tasks, try writing things down, labeling drawers, using a large calendar, and setting phone reminders. These aren't signs of weakness, they're smart tools that help preserve your independence. Now, let's address the emotional side of this. Because fear often keeps people silent. But there is no shame in noticing changes. There is no shame in asking for help. In fact, it is one of the bravest and wisest things you can do. We live in a world that moves fast and forgets that wisdom is not measured in how quickly you recall a name, but in how deeply you understand life. Slowing down doesn't mean you're fading, it might mean your body or mind simply needs care. And with that care, clarity often returns. So if you felt your memory changing, or your thoughts becoming more foggy, don't ignore it. Don't minimize it. And most importantly, don't face it alone. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your loved ones. Start the conversation. Because the earlier you do, the more control you have. You can take steps. You can get support. And you can continue to live fully, meaningfully, and independently. Memory changes can be scary, but they are not the end. They are often the beginning of a new chapter. One where you advocate for yourself, seek understanding, and rediscover strength you didn't know you had. And there you have it, 6 quiet but powerful signs your body might be giving you after 65. Signs that too often go unnoticed, until they become something much harder to ignore. But today, you've taken a step most don't, you've chosen to listen. Remember, aging isn't about decline, it's about awareness. It's about tuning in, taking care, and making choices today that your future self will thank you for. Each small change, each adjustment, each moment of paying attention, they all matter. Because your body is wiser than you think. It's always talking to you. All we have to do, is listen. If you found this video helpful, insightful, or comforting, please take a moment to subscribe to Timeless Wisdom. It's completely free, and it helps this community grow. Every week, we share deeply researched, heartfelt videos just like this. Focused on health, purpose, and peace after 60. Give this video a like if something here resonated with you. Drop a comment and share your thoughts, or your own experience. Your story may help someone else more than you realize. And most importantly, share this video with a friend, sibling, or parent. Because wisdom multiplies when it's shared. Until next time, take care of your body, nurture your spirit, and never forget, your wisdom is timeless. And so are you.